Ready to master every twist and turn in Jerez in the Super Performer lights? This guide will show you the racing line breaking points and secrets so you can stay ahead of the competition, whether it's nailing those tricky hairpins or powering through those high speed corners. We've got you covered, so let's crack on. Right then, Jerez, great little circuit this. Long start, finish straight. You do start from a long way back, so expect dive bombs into turn one, so it could be interesting. And obviously going through the laps, this is quite a tricky corner, although it seems quite easy at this point. We are braking at the advertising marker that's painted on the road, just on the left-hand side. Use a little bit of curb. Really brake more than you think you do because you understeer. After the apex, there's a lot of understeer on the car. You seem to go over a little crest, so be cautious about that. There's not a lot of runoff. You can use it without getting off track, but don't go too far wide. Using the shadow for the bridge above or advertising marker, whatever it is, brake nice and easy. And again, same as turn one. Take it slower than you think initially because it tightens up on exit and you can run wide to get a slowdown. And if you cut the blue concrete stuff too much, there is a slowdown as well. So off track and slowdown, not good. These two corners now are absolutely flat out. You're just using acceleration, so just try and minimize the steering angle and try and minimize the track distance as much as possible. And this turn 5 up here is very fun. You're using the marshal post there on the left hand side. Straddle the curb on the way in, lift off and try and get a late apex sort of now-ish. The later the better, because you see, look how much steering I'm still cranking on. And surprisingly, this wasn't an off track. As long as you keep your tires on the blue and white curves, you should be okay. There is an easy off track to collect there, but that wasn't an off track, so you can go that far wide, but I wouldn't advise it. You want to get the straight line speed for dive bombs into this hairpin here. So using that little gap in the hedging over there, brake nice and heavy, use all of the curb. Get it slowed down all the way down into second gear. Late apex for this one, build up the throttle. Again, it's quite easy to run wide here and get an off track, so try and avoid it the best you can and get on the acceleration as best you can because this corner is flat out as well and it comes to a very nice, fun, another left-hander. You will have to lift on this one and basically at the end of the curbing there, you want to lift off just as you pass it, turn in, take a nice late apex when the concrete is out. I miss it a little bit. And I stay off throttle for a little bit longer, but once you grip up, you'll be absolutely fine. You can straddle the curb there on exit, and it's not too bad. Very fun corner in this car. Advertisement paint thing or whatever you want to call it over there on the left hand side, brake nice and easy. Use the entry curb again. Do not touch that green curb, all it does is push you wide. And again, there's not a lot of off track here, to be fair. This point here, you can see there's a little brown or tire mark thing there. That's our turning point for that one. Loads of curb on that one, doesn't affect us too much. And again, be careful of the off tracks on those both exits. If you run too far wide, you will be an off track. This is quite off track heavy, so prepare for safety rating to go down, so bear that in mind. But again, here you can run wide, but keep your tires on the blue and white and you should be fine. Those two corners are flat out. Just try and minimize your steering angle and just try and be smooth on there. Be careful on all the first few laps when the tires are cold. Entry to the pit lane, brake nice and heavy into this one. Stay as straight as you can until you get into third or second. Nice late apex. This is an important corner to get right because we need a good drive to the line. And you can run wide, but be careful because there is an off track out there if you do go too far wide. Otherwise, moral of the story is watch out for the off tracks on exits. That's going to be the thing around here, but that is a lap done and dusted in Jerez. Right then, Jerez in the rain. It does rain here, surprisingly. I don't think this week is actually wet, but obviously if you're watching this in the future, it may be a wet week, so that's why I do both wet and dry. Anyway, middle of the circuit, we're using the start of the advertisement marker that we use in the dry laps, so we're using the start of it. Brake nice and easy. Get close to the curb here. Get it all the way slow down into first gear as well. Get close to the curb, but don't touch it because it can be slippery, and all you're doing is wait until you see the exit, so you know you're not going to touch the exit curb. Bring the car to the middle of the circuit again, and we're using the blue advertisement marker that has no advertisement on it, and we're braking nice and easy. It's downhill braking zone, so it's easy to snatch a front brake. So again, nice and easy. Just let the car settle in. You see I've got a bit of rear end instability there, but just stay short, stay away from the curbs and get on throttle. Stay on the dirty side of the circuit and not the rubberized line because it is a little bit grippy. And you see I'm just holding off the throttle a little bit just to make sure I don't touch that curbing. And here I'm going around the outside. I will need a lift as well, so make sure you have a lift and just gently round. There is grip out there and your tires will have to warm up and it is doable, but just be cautious, just be gentle. First lap on wet tires is horrendous anyway. This one I'm braking really deep, so I'm using the marshal post at the same time, but I'm braking into the corner and going all the way around the outside and then kind of bringing it back a little bit because there is a rubberized line that we're going to pass, so we want to be as straight as possible when we get on top of it, which is kind of about now. And I do touch the curb a little bit, which I try and avoid in the rain, but it wasn't too bad because we were still in a straight line. So all you're doing on that corner is getting the cornering done to prepare to go over the rubber line in a straight line. Get to the far right hand side and you use those bushes just so we approach them. You're using those as the braking marker. Brake nice and heavy. There is a lot of grip here, and just go straight over the rubberized line right to the outside. You get really good rotation there. Even I get too much rotation, I have to counter steer. Went in a little bit too quick, but anyway, get it's sort of diamond it. So go deep into the corner, get the car rotated, get it pointing in a straight line and out the corner, and away you go. That seems to be the best way around there to avoid all the curbs. This one is just not flat out. It's really annoying, so there needs a big lift on that one. Completely flat out in the rain, but it's not here. So again, around the outside. Now this corner is a tricky one, so we need a braking point on this one because we're using the end of the tire barrier there. Little drag of brakes, again, all the way around the outside. There is grip around there again, but you just got to find it and balance it, if you will. It's not too bad, but cold tires again, it will be treacherous. Get the car back over to sort of the middle of the circuit at this point, and end of the grass is when we start thinking about braking. Get to the middle of the circuit, like I say, and brake nice and easy. You can use the rubberized line here because we are going slow enough. Just avoid the curbs, and I want to make sure we don't touch the curb on exit because obviously we don't want to spin there, and also we need to turn in for this very fast approaching another right-hander. So little dab of the brakes through there. Again, try and avoid it. You have to go on the racing line because there's not a lot else you can do, but just try and avoid the curbs and be very, very delicate. Accelerating now to the few last corners, and we are going to need to have a big lift. So I'm using the little cones there as my marker. Big lift on the way in, and a little drag of brakes if you feel comfortable, but avoid the curb. Just go all the way around the outside. You can touch the outside curb, but try and get off it nice and gently. And this one, you are going to need a little bit of dab of brakes as the curb on the left-hand side ends. Again, all the way around the outside and avoid the exit curb, and you should be golden. Last corner, you want to brake in the middle of the circuit again, so prepare that. Don't turn across too quickly, but our braking water is again the pit lane entry, so brake nice and heavy. Go all the way deep into the corner, kind of like the hairpin. Go all the way around the outside this time, and we can cut back to cross the rubberized line just here and get off power. Just be feeding that power in. You see I get a little bit of snap there, but again, I'm trying to avoid the rubberized line on the exit and the curb, and we should be home free at that one. It's not a terrible circuit in the wet, but it is a very, very slippery circuit. Kind of reminds you of Fuji. If you've ever done Fuji in the wet, it's kind of that sort of tarmac. It is a little bit slippery. Otherwise, that's the lap done and dusted. Thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.